Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute Hello Spring decal. We put it on the back of one of those glass cutting boards, but you could put this decal on anything. It could go in your window at home. It could be your car decal. You can put it on so that it shows through the glass cutting board instead of being on the front. It came out really cute. It's a very complex design. Check in the description to grab the design and the supply list. Go ahead and open a new project. Upload your SVG design. Just drag and drop it in. Click on continue and then upload. It's on your canvas now. We want to make this into a decal. So what needs to happen first is it needs an offset. So I'm going to go up here to this pencil. Click on offset. And you can make the offset for your decal as big or as small as you want. I think that's perfect for me. Now what I'm going to do is go in and contour because I want a solid background to my decal. Go over here and contour. In this right panel, you can click things one by one, but I want a solid background, so I'm going to go to hide all contours. And then I want to change the color of this to white. So I am putting this on an 8 by 8 inch round. I don't want it to touch the edge. So I am going to go 7.5 for the width. Oops. And now this is ready to get cut out. You are going to need adhesive vinyl. I'm using the Oracle for my white, and for my colors I'm using the Casa brand. And I'll have everything linked in the supply list. You can get that in the description. You're going to need parchment paper, some kind of weeding tool. I always try to keep scissors on hand, and your green sticky mat. We're going to put our decal on the back of one of these Dollar Tree glass circular cutting boards. I bought a ton of them a couple years ago, and I figured this is the perfect project for it. But your decal can go on anything you want to put it on. Before we get started in Design Space, we want to take one of these cutting boards or whatever you're putting your decal on and measure it. It's about 7.5 inches across. So I'm going to make my design 7 inches. And back over here in Design Space, I am going to select the whole thing and make it 7 inches. And we're ready to get it cut out. So click on Make. And let's get our mats set up first. So what I'm going to do is set all of these to 12 by 12. We do not need to mirror anything this time. Once your mats are all sorted, go ahead and click on Continue. That mat size didn't change, so I am going to cancel and try to get this to change again. Design Space has been being very weird. There we go. Now we can continue. I'm going to go back up here to my very first layer, which is my white layer. And I am just going to click on vinyl and click on remember. So I'm just going to cut a little piece off of here so that I'm not fighting with this whole roll. I really do not like rolls of vinyl because they get hard to work with because it is a roll. So get our Cricut machine together. Now, adhesive vinyl goes paper backing side down. So go ahead and put that on your mat with the paper backing side down. Oops, let me fix this because if I don't put the side that doesn't have this cutout on it, my design may get stuck. I'm going to do it this way. That way I avoid getting where the tape left adhesive back on there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and load it in and let it measure my mat. And then when the light starts flashing, go ahead and press go. One thing I forgot to mention in the beginning is transfer tape. You are going to need transfer tape, but if I do forget something in one of these classes in this 10-day event, don't worry, they'll all be in the supply list. Go ahead and get it started, let it cut out. Flip that over and remove it from the mat and set it aside for now. Now I am going to go ahead and get everything weeded out and ready to go. So I do believe that the word spring, I am going to have to reverse weed. Try to get everything back where it's supposed to be. I may have forgot to remind you that you need a scraper too. I'm using my Caesar scraper. And to reverse weed, you're going to take your piece of transfer tape, take it off of its backing, and put it directly onto your design. Make sure you burnish it really well on both sides. Now I can take this off, and there is the whole cutout design. And now I'm just going to lift all the parts that I don't want. And what that does is it leaves behind the parts that I do want without me having to fuss and fight with the small pieces trying to lift as I remove things. And I'm just going to stick this back on here until I'm ready for that and get everything else weeded out. So now we got everything weeded out and ready to go. We are going to cut a piece of transfer tape that is the same size as our backing, which I have lost. Oh, I never weeded it out. Now, because this is such a complex design, I suggest that you keep your screen open. And I'm gonna go ahead and get a piece of this cut out Because this is such a complex design, we are going to start with the orange back and then put everything onto the white. And I am going to transfer this off first. And the reason why is because it's hard to tell which side is the top. Once I find the top, then we're good. This is the top. I'm going to transfer this over to a transfer sheet first. I'm going to take a piece of my parchment paper, just a little piece of it. And I'm going to use this parchment paper to help me line up the hello before I stick it down. So I'm going to stick this onto the parchment paper with just a little bit of the sticky part up on top. And then I'm going to position this where it goes. And I am looking at my screen as I do this. This way I can get it as close as exact as I can. So now I have that down, and there's that little bit of sticky. Oops, I moved everything. So let's do that again. Design on the parchment. Make sure that it sticks to the actual paper and not just the surface that you're using to transfer. So this time we're stuck to the paper backing that hello is on. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the parchment, being careful not to move that off the paper, and stick it all down and remove the paper backing. So now that we have that piece on, we can follow the same process to get our back on. So this is the right side of the design, the correct side of the design. And I am just going to position those the way they should be. Position everything the way it should be. Let's get you in here closer. All right, so we put our parchment paper behind our transfer tape with a little bit of the tape at the top. That way it sticks to the next layer. So I'm going to layer this where I want it to go. And then the same process, just stick down that top part, lift this up and remove your parchment without removing that layer. And remove the paper backing. So I just realized I made a mistake. I should have put all the flowers and everything on before I put everything else onto the backing. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to put this all right here, and we are going to grab our cutting board and go ahead and move this over. Give it a quick clean. I'm just using some alcohol. I did remove the feet, and we are using the small side to adhere this to. So just go ahead and clean it off really well. And then I'm going to take this and center it onto my design. And I'm going to fold it up so that I can make sure that I get it where I want it. Burnish everything really good. Use your scraper, whatever tools you have to get that transfer, to get the vinyl stuck down. Oh, so here I forgot to take the center of my E, but it's pulling off with the transfer tape, which is cool. So now we're going to continue with the rest of our design, and I'm going to go ahead and grab, for some reason I have 2 sets of flowers. I don't need 2 sets of flowers for this design, so I'm just going to grab the ones that I need. And even though it's on here already, it's basically the same process. We're going to leave a little bit of the tape at the top and then get everything aligned. Okay, flowers are on. And our last piece is the spring piece, the one that we reverse weeded. So we are going to use the same process and do it this way, and then get it lined up where it needs to go, because this is going to be your hardest piece next to the orange piece. And once you do, you can go ahead and stick down that top of the transfer tape, remove the parchment paper, and use your scraper. So I have a bubble there, and what I do to get rid of bubbles is take my pen tool and poke a hole, and then just use my scraper. But there is our Hello Spring decal on the back of a piece of glass.